and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video we are going to be talking about my two diagnoses, one of ADHD and one of autism, and I wanted to speak about how conflicting that they can be, basically how one wants to do one thing, one likes structure, one doesn't like routine, and it just goes sometimes. So I wanted to speak about that. So first, if you could smash me a big thumbs up down below and subscribe to my YouTube channel, I will forever be grateful. So let's get on to the video. So I kind of want to explain a little bit about why I haven't uploaded, because it kind of runs into this whole video. So I've been struggling a lot recently because where I am from, which is southeast of England, Portsmouth to be exact, we are in tier 4. So we were put into tier 3 2 days ago. Then yesterday we were moved into tier 4, which means basically my Christmas has been completely ruined, basically. So yeah, basically it's not a really great time at the moment. It's a bit everywhere, and no one knows like what you can do, what you can't do, who you can see, who you can't see. It's just a little bit everywhere. So basically I have ADHD and autism, and you just, sometimes things just get a little bit wacky. So the only way I can really explain kind of ADHD and autism together is like you're heading towards an inevitable car crash, and you know you're heading towards a car crash. Like, for example, that is a metaphor for like a meltdown or like a burnout. You know you're heading towards that, but you cannot control it because you know, it just gets a bit too much. Because one minute, like I say, ADHD is okay about being spontaneous, and the other half of you just wants a structure and a routine. And when they clash, it's just like a big car crash, and you're just left feeling like burnt out, exhausted, emotional, and like depressed, because you just don't know how you feel. You're unaware of what actually should be good for you, like what do I want, like, and you just don't know where you're going, basically. And it can be really difficult to kind of make an equilibrium, kind of find like an equal balance. It can be really exhausting, and that's how I've been finding this type of time. I don't know how I should feel. I don't know, you know, one minute I'm okay with the thought of being inside and locked down again, and then the next minute I'm thinking about things and then it's spiraling out of control. Then I just want to get out because I feel like a caged rat, and basically things are just super hard to balance right now for me. And I wanted to come in here and kind of talk about that, because ADHD and autism, they're both separate diagnoses, but when they go together, they are super hard to try and get to grips. You know, my ADHD medication doesn't work for for autism. It doesn't do that. It doesn't even help. So when the medication helps with my ADHD, and it does kind of soften the blow a little bit. You know, the traits become a little less intense. But then because my ADHD is kind of being, you know, squashed a bit, then my autistic traits come out more and more because they become more dominant and vibrant. And there's no winning. There is no winning. You just kind of fighting your own mind, and sometimes it can be super messy and really hard to get to grips with, basically. And that's what I'm finding at the moment. If you kind of have ADHD, you will know that some of our traits can lead to us being spontaneous and just doing things like off the whim, having no fear, and kind of just wanting to do things sporadically, spontaneously. And you know, we don't really think of the consequences or like plans, we just go and do it. So it's like a conflicting diagnosis. One minute I want to do this, and then the next minute I want to do that, and then one thing changes, and then it's just like, I don't know how I feel. Then my autism just wants to be kind of in a routine, like wants to know what's next, and kind of doesn't like change. But if you have autism, you will kind of know that structure and prioritizing, making plans is a really important aspect of your life. You know, you kind of like to have routine, not everyone, but the majority of people with autism like to know that where they're going, what they're doing next, what time, how long is it going to take, kind of questions like that. They like to have them answered before, you know, they go and do something. So try and imagine being in my head where I have both of them, ADHD and autism, and I just like the idea of both, but they basically go together, and you know, it can make you kind of feel like, what the hell is going on here? It's been really difficult for me throughout this lockdown. The first lockdown, the very first one in March, you know, I wasn't feeling too anxious about it. You know, I kind of like the idea of being in. I'm very introverted. I don't like social situations. And again, that is more of my autism, okay? That is more of my autistic spectrum kind of trait than it is my ADHD, because my ADHD can sometimes make me be loud, out there, really sociable. So, you know, sometimes it comes in waves and I might feel more sociable one day, or I could be feeling very introverted the next day, and it could just be super hard to make plans, like know where I am, like what do I need to work on as a person. Will I be okay going to a concert? Will I be doing this? Will I be doing that? It just gets a little bit confusing. So I wanted to talk about that today, because that has been kind of an issue for me really badly like this week, and that's why I haven't really uploaded a lot, because I've been trying to figure out like where am I at with my head. Like I'm just a little bit everywhere, because when you think about it, ADHD and autism are like polar opposites, you know. Like I say, autistic people really like to have a routine and they are more introverted than people with ADHD, but I am a person with both, and trying to find like an equal balance that makes both of my diagnoses like kind of balance out equally, and it doesn't it doesn't make me overwhelmed like with my autistic traits, but then it, you know, finding something that balances between them both is so difficult, and you know, that can lead to a burnout. And I think that is where I have been heading the past few weeks, you know, with the you know, are we gonna have Christmas? Who are we allowed for Christmas? What's gonna happen? You know, those type of questions spiral. They're philosophical questions. See, big words. They're philosophical questions, and because they have no direct or like, you know, real confirmed official answers, they're really difficult for me to just digest. Basically, I spend most of my time up all night like thinking about like, is this the end of the world? Is this what people say, you know, when the world's going to get wiped out? And remember, you know, things just spiral, and at the moment, you know, I'm finding it very difficult to find a good equilibrium, basically. Yeah. And on top of ADHD and autism, I also have anxiety, which is the ultimate thing for me. When I am in a state of like panic, right, a low mood, depression, my anxiety seems to be the one that kicks me up the arse. Like that's the one that proper knocks me down, and yeah, that is the one that gets to me all the time, because my anxiety is based around health and my health. So I'm a bit of a germaphobe basically, and when it comes to it, I just find it very difficult if people come near me anyway. So in coronavirus, I'm like, whoa. Like my sister and my dad are key workers, and you know, them coming in from their work where they've been with the public is just very like ill. Like I'm finding it very difficult at the moment with that. So yeah, you know, it just becomes a little bit hard when you've got ADHD, anxiety and autism all banging on, you know, in your head, and you've got to try and make a balance for all three of those things, and it just gets a little bit difficult. So I thought, you know, why not come on here and just chat about it, because there's going to be other people with the same kind of dilemmas as me, you know, the same, you may be in tier 4 and in the southeast of England, London, and you might be feeling the exact same as me, because you don't obviously need to have all three of my diagnoses to feel like this. You don't even need to have any of them to feel like this, because it's an uncertain time. You don't know what's coming next, you don't know where you're heading, and it's one of those things that just is really scary. But I have such intrusive thoughts, and you know, they are racing all the time, and there's things that I just cannot calm down. I can't stop them, you know. You can pop as many of those ADHD pills as you want, but my thoughts are just intrusive, and they are like a burglar. Like they come in when I'm least expecting it, and they take all the goodness out of my head, and I'm just left with the horrible thoughts. Basically, that's how I feel. I've been doing some thinking, and I thought, what can I take out of as a positive, you know, throughout this experience? And it's gonna have to be that I'm stronger than I believe, you know. I can get myself through bad times. I can really try, and I can change my mindset a lot easier now, which I've never been able to do, but I've learned how to do it throughout this lockdown, because I've had to, you know, I've had to adapt to different styles of living, you know, breathing, existing. I've had to learn how to cope. So that's one thing I can take out of this experience that is a positive. Secondly, like I've had a lot more time with my mum and my dogs. We've been doing a lot more exercise, going out for walks. So that's another positive, you know, being more active, spending more time with my mum. So yeah, that's another positive. So Thirdly, this is something I'm going to be working towards in this lockdown, and that is, so I'm going to be trying to write book number 2. So I'm going to do it as a children's book. I'm going to illustrate it myself, draw my own characters, and I'm going to base it around me and my experiences with ADHD and autism. So yeah, so that's something to look forward to. I'm working towards that in this lockdown, tier 4 lockdown, towards Christmas. I'm giving myself a little bit of a challenge, a goal, because I work better when I have a goal. Again, autism, that's my autistic trait. I like to have a structure. I like to know I'm working towards something, what could be coming in the future. I like to have structure. But then I know full well some days my spontaneous and impulsive kind of hyperactivity ADHD traits are going to wipe that out the park, and I'm probably just going to sit watching Netflix all day, or like mucking around and just wanting to be outside and being moody because I can't go shopping or go get coffee. So yeah, some days are going to be easy and some days are going to be hard, but I'm challenging myself. I want to write book number 2 because I already have a book coming out. So yeah, that will be out real shortly, I believe. You know, COVID, it was meant to be coming out last week, I think, but obviously because of COVID, things are just taking its time, so I'm really unaware of where my book's at. And yeah, no one's fault. It's nobody's fault, you know. It's one of those things that just happens because it's COVID, you know, it does what it wants, obviously. So yeah, it's just one of those things that we've just got to live with, I guess, because we can't change it. We can't. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here and just tell you, you know, it's difficult at the moment. Lockdown is difficult. And yesterday when it was, you know, announced that we were going into tier 4, I was like, I don't want to be alive anymore. I do not want to be living this nightmare anymore. Like, I do not want to. I was freaking out. I had a meltdown. I was just like, no, what are we going to do? I had no way out. Like I say, I felt very claustrophobic in my own mind because I was like, again, that was just, I don't know, that was a mixture of ADHD, autism and anxiety, and I was just a bit everywhere. Think about it, you know, if we isolate, we do what we're told, we can go back to having a normal-ish life after Christmas, and hopefully it's going to save people's lives. You know, that's the ultimate goal out of this. I want my granddad healthy for when I have kids. I don't want him mixing with people because they're being arrogant and they're not wearing their masks. So if we've got to stay in, we've got to stay in. We've got to have an indoor Christmas. Oh well. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Just a little bit like, I don't know where I am, don't know who, where, blah, 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 blah. I'm just a little bit everywhere. I'm like a cage rat. I want to be outside, but then I don't want to be outside. Then I go outside, then I want to be in. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I'm getting bored of Christmas films, bored of Christmas music. I'm getting bored of drawing. Like, I have no interest in anything anymore. I'm losing interest in everything because all I seem to be doing is sitting indoors. Yeah, I'm trying to find a new coping mechanism because everything I'm doing, I'm getting bored at. You know, drawing, I'm getting bored. Instagram, I'm getting bored. Facebook, I'm getting bored. YouTube, I mean, I watch YouTube all the time. Like, I don't think you can get bored of YouTube. So if you could do me any favours by sharing, you know, spreading my videos, I'd totally appreciate that. So yeah, if you're struggling, know you're not alone because there's plenty of us out here struggling. Like, there's loads of us. But yeah, I just wanted to try and just let you know, like, ADHD is hard on its own, autism is hard on its own, anxiety is hard on its own. Try mashing all bloody 3 of them together and you'll end up like me, like, just wacky because you don't know what you're feeling. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope I see you next time. I might upload before Christmas, I may not, depending on like where I'm at. I don't know. So if I don't see you before, happy Christmas, have a great time, eat all the good food. I mean, not vegetables, I mean chocolate, Pringles, anything you want, eat it all. And have loads of J2Os, they're my favourite. The glitterberry one, that is my ultimate favourite. But yeah, stay safe. Follow your rules, whatever tier you're in, follow the rules so we can all go back to our normal life real soon. Because that's ultimately what we want. Save lives. I sound like Boris. Like, ultimately, we want to save lives, don't we? Just stay safe, save lives, and enjoy Christmas. So yeah, bye.